Good morning. Good
Great.
morning.
How you guys doing?
We're doing great.
Fine.
Go ahead, Dad.
Thank you for being on. I appreciate it. I know you're quite busy. Just tell me when you sort of got your team together, when you got to Alabama basketball, what did excited you, or what expectation? What fooled you? So what was better than you thought it would be when you got there?
You know what? The talent was actually pretty good, and I think it was even kind of built to play the way we wanted to play in some regards. Now, there was too many bigs because I don't really ever play two bigs unless, one can really shoot it. So we could get away with playing two bigs because Reese can shoot it so well, if he's one of them. But, like Herb Jones and Kyra, John Petty, like they're all really good in transition and play fast. So I kind of pleasantly surprised at how now, Herb needs to shoot it better. Petty needs to handle it better. Kyra needs to get stronger. They all got areas to improve, but I do think that, those are guys that I definitely would have recruited hard to come here if I'd have been the head coach as well.
Well, I think you've done an excellent job in sort of getting the roster the way you wanted it. And by that, I mean some people moved out and some people moved in, and you've got a lot of new kids, and I think the fans are very excited about the way you're going to play. Talk a little bit about maybe some of these new kids that you have.
Yeah, so we've got 4 freshmen. 3 of them were already signed, which that way had done a really good job. We needed to add shooting. The way we play, we shoot a lot more threes than they shot and spread the floor. So Shackelford, the kid out of California, he's been really good. The 2 guards have been really good. Him and Forbes, they can both shoot it. They kind of got an edge to them. That they compete at a high level, and we needed guards. So those 2 are going to be good. I think they can both play immediately for us. Jawan Gary's got a lot of upside. He's got to get a little bit more skilled, but he's got a college-ready body, and he'll be – I think he could be really good. It's just, how patient does he want to be? How much does he want to work on his game on his own? And then Raymond Hawkins, kind of the same way. He's got upside. He shows flashes of it. He's got to get in a lot better shape to play the way we want to play. But a lot of times those bigs take a couple of years till they're ready anyways. And we've got some pretty good bigs. Galen Smith's been playing really well. He plays hard. Kind of that ball screen roller. He's actually been working on his game outside of practice too. But so those 4 freshmen are that. Now, Beadle, the kid from West Virginia, we recruited him because he can shoot, and he doesn't miss much. He's in all the drills. He can really shoot. So he's going to add shooting, which we needed. He's going to also add another ball handler, which Kyra kind of needed. The kid, speaking of ball handlers, the kid Quinterly out of New Jersey, the McDonald's All-American that went to Villanova and didn't really work out there. We're hoping to get him eligible immediately. If we could, that would, ease a lot of pressure off Kyra. Kyra was really the primary ball handler, and and he needed some help. So I hope we can get him eligible right away. But he's good. He's skilled. He can handle it, pass it, shoot it. I think he had a lot for a young kid. I say young, when you're 18, 19 years old, he went through a lot with just being under the microscope with that deal, and hopefully we can get him eligible. And then the one guy that's not here yet, that's new, James Rojas. So he hasn't worked out with us. He's still in summer school back in New York. So he had to finish up a few classes. He'll get here in middle of August. He's just a tough, hard-nosed, and we needed to add toughness in a big way, and he's also skilled for a 4. I think, I've watched him play all through high school because he's back there in Jamestown, New York, kind of where we came from, and I'm really excited about him. It just kind of stinks he wasn't able to be with us all summer, but we can start workouts again in the fall, right away in the middle of August, so he'll have plenty of time before we play games to get acclimated to what we're doing.
We're talking with Coach Nate Oats. A great rundown on all those players. Coach, I wanted to ask you, a close friend of mine who played for Dad, Jim Farmer, was in town. I know his son was in your camp, but he called me the other day, and this is the first time I've heard this really since Dad coached there. I watched him, and they had some great stuff they ran, this, that, and the other, but playing hard was non-negotiable. His teams always played extremely hard, and Jim, who's been through a lot of those practices and played in the NBA, number one draft pick, he called me and said, Barry, I've never seen a team practice as hard as Coach Oates' team practice. He said every drill is competitive. There's a winner and a loser. You got to make a free throw to actually finish the drill to win it. I just want to talk a minute about that, about how you structure practice and get these guys to play so hard. Because if you do that, you're going to win a lot of basketball games. That was music to my ears. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I think you're dead on. There's probably a reason your dad made as many Sweet 16s as he did and won as many games as he did. And the men's basketball social media account just put out a graphic on, I think we're second winning percentage. They had all that stuff, which people I don't think realize how much Alabama had won. It's just been a long time since they were in the Sweet 16 or Elite Eight, the one Elite Eight run they made. And I think you're right. Like you can run all the nice sets you want, play, but all that stuff doesn't matter if they don't play hard. And that's kind of what we've got the three core values in max effort. It's one of them. We preach it every day, but I think you gotta coach it and you gotta kind of acclimate the guys. There's different levels of hard now too. Like I think everybody in America thinks that they go hard, and when you walk in one guy's gym and you walk in another guy's gym, and being a high school coach for 11 years, I had the privilege to, high school practice didn't start for a month and a half after college practices would start, so I'd go watch all kinds of different college practices. There's different levels to how hard teams go, so we kind of come up with a system where probably 95% of our drills are we figure out ways to score about everything. We even have a winner and a loser when we do 5-on-0 offense. Got a winner and a loser just about every drill, and so when you got a winner and a loser, and guys teach guys to be competitive, because I do think that the culture's gotten to be where, and I think some different places have done a better job at it, but the kids, they play AAU, they play game in the morning, they lose. That's all right. We play in the afternoon, we lose again. That's all right. We get to play again tonight. So,
right.
It's not okay to lose. And so that's what. And then the one thing, and I don't know if Jim stayed long enough. And Jim was great, by the way. It's been good to get to know a few of these guys. And he brought his kid to camp. He was, for a guy that's played in the NBA as long as he has, and was as good as he was. Doesn't really have an ego. He's just a normal guy, and I really enjoyed getting to talking to him. But I think when guys, and I don't know if he got to the end of practice, but like if one team, when we get to the end of practice, you owe a sprint for how many games you lost. So like the other day it was bad. I forget, maybe it was 9-3, so a team lost. And like yesterday, I know we've got a free throw problem here, and we had it, and we're on the guys, but yesterday, the team in practice, the team that actually won more games didn't win the day because they couldn't make as many free throws as the other team. And then if they shoot really poorly at the free throw line, I made the point, like, it doesn't matter how hard you play some games. Like, if you can't step up and make shots, whether it's a free throw or a wide open free, you're still going to lose games.
Right.
So we're going to establish the fact that we're going to play hard enough to win a lot of games, but you still got to be skilled on top of that. So, but then to run all the sprints at the end, that's when I'm kind of like, fellas, you should have figured this out during practice. Like, you can't lose the day by 6. Now, and the sprints progressively get hard. Like, if you lose by 1, you owe us a 22. If you lose by 2, you owe us a 22 and a suicide. If you lose by 3, it's a 22, a suicide, and a 33, 3 down and back. So you don't want to lose. So we just try to develop a culture where losing's painful, and you compete super hard in practice so you don't lose the day. And if you are losing the day, hopefully the other team's talking a lot of trash to you and let you know that you're a bunch of losers, and you don't want to be a loser. I
can see Dad smiling right now. You saying 22s and 33s. facilities. Let's talk about that a minute. I heard your interview with Lauren's sister, which I thought was great. All the others, the practice gym's great, the weight room's great, the dining hall's great, the campus is incredible, and Coleman Coliseum is good. It's not great. It does need to be remodeled, but that's not going to keep you from getting anybody that you want, is it, Coach Oates? And I don't think you're really worried about it. You're coming from high school. You were at Buffalo. Hey, you got a private plane now. You got some great. This is probably really nice to what you used to.
The Coleman Coliseum renovation's the last thing on my mind. I mean, I can't say I don't care because I do think it is. It's gonna be nice. It's gonna be nice for the fans, and we want to have a full Coliseum. But I think putting a winning product on the floor is a lot more important to filling Coleman up than it is to actually renovating Coleman. So I'm more worried about the stuff I can control. I'm not able to control that time frame and all that. And really, like you said, like everything else is in play. I mean, we play our games in Coleman. We'll practice in Coleman, during the year once we get to the games. But that's so minuscule. The fact if Coleman gets renovated or not is going to have almost zero effect on our recruiting and our winning basketball games. So I really haven't even given more than about 2 minutes of thought to it, other than when Greg told me in the interview that it's going to get done, and he says it's going to get done, it's going to get done. And he didn't give me a time frame. I mean, he said, I think it makes sense what they're doing. They can make a lot of money off the football suites and get those done and make a bunch of money off it and use it to help do Coleman. I'm not too worried about it, to be honest with you.
I got it, Dad.
A couple of things. One, I know that scheduling is what for me was important because I thought it was right behind recruiting. Are you able to sort of get a little bit like you want it? I know you're wanting to play, some tough teams, but you also want to win some games. What do you feel schedule wise, non-conference?
No, I think you're 100% right. I think the most important thing is recruiting. Just got to get the right players in here, and then I think you got to schedule, and it's probably more important now than it's ever been with the way that, because with college basketball, everything's predicated on whether you make the NCAA tournament or not. And if you don't schedule right, I mean, even if you win a bunch of games, if they weren't the right quality of teams, you're not going to get in the NCAA tournament. So you're exactly right. You got to schedule hard enough to where it used to be RPI, now it's that NCAA net, to where your numbers right. Your ranking and the rankings that matter are right. And if you're playing terrible teams, you can win a game and go backwards in those ratings. So you got to get the right number of quality teams. You got to get the right number of wins, and so scheduling is really important. I mean, we've kind of employed kind of a third-party group that crunches all the numbers for us and gives us predictions on the different teams, and so it's gotten a little bit more analytics-based than probably it was when when Coach was doing it and when you were helping him do it. But it's still the same concept. We just got some computers to help us do it, and we're close. We're pretty much. I mean, to be honest with you, we're done as long as we get the contracts back that people have said that they're going to get back to us. And I like what we've done with the schedule. I think we're going to have some teams that we should beat, but if we don't play well, we're going to lose to them. And those are the kind of teams you want. I don't want to play teams that when you walk out there, even if you play terrible, you're getting a win no matter what, because that doesn't help you get better. The worst thing you can do is go out, play terrible, and get a win. You guys think they can do it every night. Then they're not going to get any better. So I want games on the schedule that you have to play well to actually win. But in the non-conference, there's got to be enough on there that when you do play well, you do get those wins.
That way you and Dad are different. He wanted to play the worst team he could possibly play.
We didn't have a computer. We had my voice, and when they brought in the team that he thought we ought to play. Behind the scenes, I double checked it, and I wasn't. I wasn't pleased very often.
Yeah,
so
he was studying that roster of that team, Coach. You wouldn't believe.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. I'll admit that. I'm guilty of that.
Hey, that's not a bad thing. You want
I want to ask you one other thing. I know you've got to go, and you can't ask you technical stuff on the radio show, I guess. But to me, with the line being moved, I think in terms of how we're going to play defensively more than offensively. We got to shoot it better from an inch and something further back. Does it change any of your thoughts defensively?
You know what? It's actually a great point, and probably unless you've thought of basketball, your whole life for a job, you're probably not going to think of it in those terms. But you're dead on. Like now you got to make decisions. I think it's going to be your scouts are going to be really predicated on personnel. Like I'm not going to chase the guy out there that can't shoot.
Oh, what a great point that is. That is exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like you want to shrink the floor on defense. You talk about opening the floor up all the time on offense. Well, it's the exact opposite on defense. You want to shrink the floor. And so now the offense is going to be spaced even further out. And if you're running out to chase non-shooters, you're going to open the floor up for the other team on offense, which is definitely not what you want to do. So
that is so good. That is so good.
Yeah, you're just going to have to. Your players going to have to be really smart. And I think, we won 32 games last year at Buffalo. We won 29 or 27. It was I think the year before that. We had guys that really studied scouting reports and studied video like at a high level. And there's multiple guys playing in the NBA Summer League from those teams now. So we're going to have to get the culture here to the same point where guys are studying the video and know their opponents at a really high level, because we can't chase everybody outside that line.
I told those guys if a certain guy made that shot that I told him wasn't going to shoot it well, that was on me. You can charge that one to me.
And you know what? Sometimes you hope they make the first one, because then they're going to shoot 6 more of them. They'll go 1 for 7.
Yeah, those guys think, I'm shooting. Why are you shooting? Because I'm open. Well, you're open for a reason. They can read your stats. Coach, before we let you go, last thing, Tyron Lewis is in Greece. And I saw that I don't know if you sent or Brian, but Brian went over there and to support him, which I thought was a neat thing. I mean, that's not, I guess you can do some recruiting and stuff while you're over there as well, but that kind of helps him build a relationship with Tyron Lewis, to come all the way to Greece to watch him work out and play. You guys are invested in these guys that are here now. I thought that was pretty neat. Just maybe talk about the experience Kyra had in Greece. I know he didn't get to play as much as the Alabama fans wanted. They wanted to fire the coach from Kansas State because he didn't play 30 minutes a game. But talk about, why Brian went over there, and I thought it was a great move.
No, you're kind of dead on with that. We wanted to support Kyra, and I think it was good because obviously a kid as talented as Kyra and who's played as much as he played last year in high school, might have been the first time in his life he wasn't playing heavy minutes, and he even a couple of those games just really got kind of garbage minutes, which he was obviously a little frustrated. So I think it was helpful to have somebody from our staff over there with him the whole time. And it really, you think about going to Greece, it's going to be some great vacation spot. The pictures Brian was sending us back it was definitely not a vacation spot. That area of Greece they were in, it was kind of a dump, to be honest with you. But so, and Kyra and Brian, yesterday was their first practice back with us, both of them. So they were kind of talking about how bad the area was over in that area of Greece. I think it was, Kyra's still young. I mean, he should be going into his freshman year at college right now. And he, in some regards, he's still a young kid. And I think it helped to have Brian over there. It showed him that we're invested in him. We want what's best for him. It was helpful to his mom to have somebody she could trust over there to kind of report back and kind of take care of her, her baby. And, and like you said, we were able also to recruit a little bit. There's a couple guys over there we were looking at, and Brian was able to, watch them, communicate with them and their parents, and kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone. But I'm glad Brian went. Brian and Kyra were both, and I'm sure both you guys have been overseas a handful of times. Every time I go off U.S. soil, I can't wait to get back. It sounds like it's going to be a great trip, and by about the 4th or 5th day, you're like, just get me back to the U.S. where my cell phone works, and where I can read all the signs and know what whether there's McDonald's or whatever on the corner. So I think they were both the same way. They couldn't wait to get back to the U.S. here.
Well, Coach, we appreciate your time very much.
Coach.
I know you guys are busy getting ready to hit the road, so look forward to meeting you here soon. I'd love to get by and watch you guys practice sometime.
Yeah, whenever
Thanks,
you want,
Coach.
just let us know. We'd love
Appreciate
that.
it.